Welcome back, and I'm so excited today because this week is going to be our Cinco de Mayo week, celebrating some beautiful Mexican-inspired dishes, and I'm so thrilled to show you this recipe that we're going to be working on today. This is homemade flour tortillas, and this actually is the recipe that inspired the YouTube channel about 4 years ago. So we're going to finally get to do this one for you. Now, first, before we get into it, this is a recipe where it is very, very hands-on, literally hands-on and in. So we're going to take off all the jewelry, take off everything but your earrings, okay, for this one, all right? And wash your hands. Okay, now, into our very big bowl, and this, yes, you're going to want to get out probably the biggest bowl you've got in your house, okay? Now that we have our hands clean and we're ready to begin, I want you to come a little closer, okay? Because this really is hands-on. I want you to be right in the bowl with me. In our great big bowl, we have 6 cups of all-purpose unbleached flour, and into that is going to go our baking powder, our salt, and we're going to whisk that around. Now, into that is going to go 1/2 cup of shortening. Now, you can use an alternative shortening if you like. I've done that before. But the traditional recipe that we got as our family received it used regular shortening. Now you notice I'm covering that just to get it a little bit coated with flour before I begin. Now the next step is fun, and if you've got little hands in the house, get them all scrubbed up and bring them in, because what you're going to do is just work that shortening into the flour like that, the flour mixture. Once you get it to where it's like that, then just start working it with your hands like this. You can tell that it would be a really good thing to get all the little hands in your house involved in this. They're going to love this project. Now, when you get it to this place where you can't feel any large lumps of the shortening in there, then you're ready. Okay, now our flour tortilla mix is made. Now from this point, we are ready to store it, which we're going to store what we don't need to use right now. And then the rest, or what I need for my family dinner, I'm going to use about, we have a big family, so let's see here. 2 of that, yeah. All right, so about 3 cups of that for our dinner. We have our mix in our bowl, and we're going to add very hot water, but not boiling. Very important. We're going to add very, very hot water out of the tap, and we're going to pour in enough to make a good stiff dough. And you see, guys, we just put enough water in. Remember, you can always add a little bit more if you need it. Don't put in so much that then you got to add more mix, you know, because you added too much water. I've done that. That's why I'm telling you that. I know I've done that the hard way, learned the hard way, all that jazz. Now, you see that? Stiff dough cleans the side of the bowl. See that? There we go. So we know we've added enough water. So that's done. Now, I'm going to put out a little bit of flour. Again, that's our all-purpose flour. And our dough goes out onto the floured surface. Gonna knead it a few times. You don't have to knead it as much as you would a regular bread dough. You just want it nice and soft. See how it's kind of elasticy? Okay. And that sets to the side. Okay, now when we're ready to roll out our flour tortillas, and I usually do that right away, you take your big ball of dough, pinch off enough for a flour tortilla. Now, guys, just let's pause one sec because I want to tell you, you're going to pinch off however much that you want to make for your size of tortilla. If you want a large tortilla, like for a wrap or a large burrito, you're going to use more dough than that, okay? If you want a small tortilla, kind of like a street taco size, you're going to use a little bit, about that much, might even be a little bit, tiny bit less than that, okay? But once we've got it to that place, you can push it out with your hands, or you can use a rolling pin, okay? I usually don't have enough strength in my hands to really push that out as thin as I want it, so I use a rolling pin. And you just work it around like that. Make sure you've got enough flour on your pin so that it doesn't stick to the flour tortilla as you're rolling. And you can make it as thin or as thick as you want. If they're thicker, you remember your cooking time will be a little bit longer. I like mine pretty thin, so I usually just roll them out nice and thin. And there your tortilla is ready to set aside, or even go right in the pan immediately. And on to the next one. Last one's done. Now, on to cooking them. I've got a fuzz chasing me. I've got my skillet on medium-high heat, and that's about where I like to cook these and just keep that even temperature on about medium-high the whole way through. Okay? So this is just about ready, and we're going to start cooking our flour tortillas. By the way, guys, if you like what you're seeing, my word, leave me a comment, okay? And make sure you're subscribed, guys, so that you can see how to make homemade flour tortillas and all the other wonderful videos that we're uploading for you each and every week, okay? So, this is ready. I have my plate and my lid to keep them warm right here at the ready. So, in they go. In it goes, that hot skillet, and it's going to cook very, very quickly. So we're watching it because you're going to see on the top layer, on the top side, you're going to see little bubbles beginning to raise up through that tortilla. Okay, you can see the little bubbles are beginning to come up. Another way that you can tell if it's ready to flip is give it a little scooch, and I will do this with a pair of tongs so that you can see it being done with a set of tongs. All right, give it a little bump. See how that moves so easily in the skillet? And you see these nice little bubbles that are beginning to come up. See those right there? That's telling me that tortilla is about done. All right, and I just give it a scooch like this and flip it. And we've got our little plate here with our lid to keep them nice and warm, because they are best to eat right when they come off the griddle or off of the skillet, however you're making them. Okay, last one in and done, and they're ready to serve. Now, let me show you. You can do these with, oh my goodness sakes, dip them in salsa, dip them in queso, just, you can have them, you know, burrito style, just anything and everything, right? That you can do, whatever is your favorite. When I was a little bitty kid, and my mother would be making flour tortillas, and they'd be coming off, and they just smelled so good. And of course, we were starved to death, felt like we were. She would let us have a tortilla as they were coming off, because she usually had extras. I'll show you, look how nice and hot those are. And she would let us have a tortilla just with butter spread on it. So I'm going to show you a childhood fave that was just hard to beat. Take a little piece of butter, just rub it around on that hot flour tortilla. See how it's melting? Oh my goodness sakes, look at that. So that you got a good little bit on it, right? See that? Roll it up like a cigar. Oh yeah. That, such a good little treat right there. Try these and leave me a comment. Tell me what you think about it, and tell me the way that you have fixed them and what you dipped your flour tortilla in, right? And make sure you're subscribed to the channel so that you can see all these and the other videos we're going to have for you for Cinco de Mayo week. And we'll see you next time on Things Tina Does.